Good evening, good afternoon, good night. This is 1AAA podcast. That's one absolutely African American podcast. And I'm your host, the Hypocritical Cynic. And yet again, let me apologize to my viewers for not posting in a while, but you know, we're gonna get it regimented. We're gonna get it regimented as soon as we get to 50 videos. Then we're gonna go to Anchor. Then we're gonna go to Twitter, Instagram, maybe Facebook too. But you know, Instagram is Facebook, so you know we might just stay with Instagram because it's newer. But let me first say, holler at me at 1AAAPodcast@gmail.com. That's for writing, speeches, life coach, writing assistant, muse. It don't matter. Whatever you need, holler at me at the Gmail and I got you. After you do that, then go to Vipushupstudios. That's PUSHUP Studios@gmail.com. Holler at my boy Vic. Professional and courteous. I know you heard of us. That's his slogan. He's a great producer, master producer in the way of video and acoustics. So video, if you want a professional social media skit, upload it for the world to see, all the way to a full-length 3-hour movie. Whatever you need in between, he got you. As far as music, one song covers, all the way to mixtapes, all the way to full-length LPs. It don't matter. He got you. Top of the line equipment, on location, or it come to you. It don't matter. When you get through holler at him, go to Dirty Kicks on Instagram. That's DIRTYKICKSSS, 3 S's, for any shoe need, anything you need. It don't matter. Current, classic, color, size, manufacturer, it don't matter. Send the request. He gonna send you the invoice. You send the money. After that, shoes is on the way. You can go shopping for your garb. It don't matter. But today's show, a little bit more controversial. Oh, let me shout out to my artist, ENC. Y'all see ENC right there. You see, literally on top of the world. It means one day we all gonna be up under this thing. Best day and worst day. You literally on top of the world, cause one day you will be up under this thing. And then it say broken heart made me. But that means, like I say, my example I use, if 10 of the greatest architects redesign a room, if they don't completely dismantle that room and recreate another one, you'll still see the lines or the cracks from the old room. And I'm a work in progress. I hope I'm progressing. Hope I'm prolific. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. But you know, the wounds and the scars of an emotional past, you can still see on my face today. But this show right here is a little bit more controversial than I normally like to do, but it has to be done because I was thinking about it and I want to give it to my viewers. It's about an interview that Akon had with Vlad. Everybody knows Vladtv. Shout out Vladtv. And let me say, I don't know when Vlad changed, but in the annals of time, you know, when aliens come uncover the dust and reveal our civilization, he was ahead of the curve. I don't know if he was always understanding the black plight, but I listened to a few of his videos and, you know, I can't be 100% behind everything he says, but he's coming around. He's done a lot more than a lot of our black celebrities, and I don't like to say that, but it's true. But yeah, the video that he had was with Akon. I don't really have a problem with Akon personally at all, because I don't know him personally. Seems like a good dude, you know, to amass a small fortune like he did. He ain't no stupid person. He takes care of his business, so I can't be mad. Oh shit, I'm looking at my damn scruffy beard. Let me say to my viewers, I broke my glasses, ordered a new pair, and they coming. That only correlates because I cut my own hair, so I don't want to mess up so bad where I gotta lose the beard. It's starting to get cold outside, so I gotta go through this little growth period till my glasses get in. But trust me, I ain't like, you know, mad at the world or nothing like that. But yeah, with Akon, he said a few things that sparked this ideology that I wanted to present to my viewing public. First of all, I want to say it's not easy to make this show because I'm not this controversial, but it had to be made. I keep on making that segue. But he was speaking about like basically African Americans getting over slavery. You know, I'm not gonna make that Senegalese reference. You know, I'm gonna put that aside because that's more of a finite conversation. I want to make it more broad, more general. You know, broaden the horizon, more looking toward immigrants. Period. You know, watching the show Akon and Vlad, they're both immigrants. You know, but I don't want to just pigeonhole African immigrants. I want to talk about all immigrants who came to America. And then I don't want to just bash Akon because it's so safe to bash Akon. I'm not bashing Akon, but just, what he said, because it's not him that presented this argument. This is a derivative of a bigger thing. So I don't want to just take it out on Akon like Akon's a problem. He's not a problem. He's not the conversation that he had going at this conversation. So it's not safe to just jump on Akon because it's bigger fish to fry. And when you have somebody who could speak truth to that power, then you're doing something. Right now, we're mulling over facts. But one facts I want to get to first. Shout out to Dr. Mumbai, the very beautiful, very educated Dr. Mumbai. Thank her for spreading a lot of information about the motherland here in America, getting it to here in America. But everybody in Africa right now is going against colonialism, fighting against oppression, and seeking equality. Now, a tyrant has exposed his head. It could be the Chinese in lieu of more bigger powers, or it could just be the Chinese stealing. But everybody in Africa is right now at the Chinese stealing money from Africa. Everybody. I don't know if they're taking it over. I ain't gonna speak above my pay grade, but everybody is mad at Chinese circumventing specifications, regulations, and codes, or just straight up stealing. One reference I can make is a highway that they made to remove resources from Africa to the coast to go to China. The Chinese made beautiful roads for their trucks to take resources out of Africa, but for the workers to come and mine the places, those roads are still like dirt roads and stuff like that. I just thought that was bad. But like I said, people of Africa are mad at Chinese stealing money. At the same time, you, Akon, are getting money with the Chinese. Now the Chinese stealing money, you getting money with the Chinese. Now I'm not gonna make that correlation, but when we look up the word coincidence, look at that word seem. It says they seem like they don't go together, but that's wild and crazy. So I just want to know, are you, Mr. Akon, pulling a Jay-Z on the Africans? Jay-Z did it to us. Are you doing that to the Africans right now? Shout out to everybody in Africa who's benefiting from you bringing power to their country. Or are you pulling the Jay-Z on the Africans? That's what we want to know. Y'all remember what happened with Jay-Z, right? With the NFL and everything like that. Y'all remember that? Okay, now I'm going before that. I'm going to the Brooklyn Nets. Y'all remember the Nets situation? Well, let me jog your memory a little bit. This is kind of a tinfoil hat theory, but we're going to go down there, and where I'm wrong, put it in the comments. And I'm sure I'll hear about it if I'm wrong, but let's just see. Let's remember that long-time residents, you know where the Brooklyn Stadium is right now, long-time residents always voted against bringing that stadium to their place because they knew they would have to leave, and they just didn't want it. Long-time residents of that district, of that constituents of that area always voted against the Brooklyn Nets taking their home for the stadium. So somebody gave Jay-Z a cigar off the boss's desk. Somebody was seen took a picture of Jay-Z shaking hands with the actual owner of the Brooklyn Nets, or Jay-Z bought an owner's pin off of Amazon or whatever. But for some reason, we thought Jay-Z was an actual owner in the NBA because they gave him 0.015, 0.6%, 0.02% of a franchise. So after that happened, then the constituents of the area where the Brooklyn Stadium was supposed to be actually passed referendums to bring the stadium to their homeland, to their residence, to their area, to their neighborhood. So I know it wasn't us because, like I said before, a long time ago, residents voted annually not to bring that stadium to their place. But through gerrymandering, gentrification, possible loan discouragement, through unnecessary denials, possible, well, these are actual accusations, but I'm gonna say possible because I haven't read up on them. Possible tax and tariff oppression, possible, I'm just gonna leave that at possible, was used to actually bring in the developers, by buying up land or not letting people make loans to buy land in that area. That was a possible plan to remove the long-time residents. And then when Jay-Z was, put before us as the owner of the Nets, then the people, I guess the swing voters, changed their mind and voted for the stadium to come to that neighborhood, displacing many families. So many families, it don't make no sense. Families that's been there for years. But my thing is, they used Jay-Z to get the stadium built in Brooklyn. And then the farce was actually examined, and then it was exposed that Jay-Z, like I say, probably got a cigar off the owner's desk, but he wasn't no owner. And I hope Akon's not doing that. But my point for bringing that up is immigrants came to this country for the resources and the reparations that we are still begging for, pleading for, and voting for. So Akon and Vlad are flourishing in this country right now because of the work that my ancestors did. So for them to say get over slavery is the only reason you uprooted from your motherland and came to this country. The resources that we beg and plead and vote for every day. These two immigrants are on TV right now telling us to get over the process, the decivilization, humiliation, castration. I'm not even gonna want us to get over slavery. And the benefits of slavery are the only reason you changed the whole course of your family's history. And if not you, then your parents. And that's another point. Your father benefited from the reparations that was supposed to be given to my father. Even deeper than that, your father has the money that my father generated. Before your ancestors could come into this country, we built this country. So now to sit back and benefit from the draconian acts of an oppressor and to benefit from the outcome of that, while the whole time telling us to get over that, that's asking a lot. That is asking a lot. But I only say that because we want equality. That's all we want. We want equality. We want not to live next to you. I see how you feel. But we want to be able to live next to you. We want to be able to go to the best colleges to study for the best jobs for free, as many immigrants have the opportunity to do. We would like our parents to be allocated resources and way of employment first dibs on certain jobs. You know, when you call your respective work entity for your state or your country, you know, I mean, for your state in this country, they say if you're an immigrant, press 1 or press a number. You ever wonder what's different between you and the immigrant? You will find out. I'm telling you right now. When I'm asking you, Akon, do you appreciate equality? You never said equality was a problem, but I'm asking, do you appreciate equality? I'm saying, can my father bail me out as a bad kid? I'm not talking about be oppressed in my neighborhood, sentenced to make sure my future has a cap on it. I'm saying, can my father bail me out as a bad kid so I can grow up one day and be your ass? Can I have a bad youthful experience, get bailed out by my father who has a good job, and eventually one day become you? Now, you way smarter than me, apparently. I ain't talking about, millions of dollars and stuff like that. But do I have to be subjugated to a life of crime and poverty because of a mistake I made in my youth? Because if you was African American and not just African, you wouldn't have bailed out of jail. I'm not saying you would have had a cap on your future, but you wouldn't have bailed out of jail. And you possibly would have been subjugated to some of the rules that keep a whole bunch of us down. Just think about this. When Caucasians slip through the cracks, they go to Skid Row, they're homeless and they broke, or they go to jail. When black people slip through the cracks, it's the other side of the spectrum. We millionaires, we married, or how did you do that? Just think about that, not the mentality. Think about the net that's picking some people up and putting them up here, and the net that's keeping us from doing certain things we need to do. It's the same cracks. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm talking about reparations as a fix-all for a lot of the situations that we're going through right now, trying to entertain or come into equality. I'm speaking of a sliding scale. This is not an attempt to destroy the country, paint the White House black or nothing like that. Right now in our fiscal situation, let me speak on that. Right now in our fiscal situation, there's no way the government can give us any money as far as reparations that will be appreciated later on when the country starts to develop, past COVID, when the stock market starts to boom back. There's no way we could accept a finite amount of money because it just wouldn't be relative in the future. In the coming inflation, we must pay for this unemployment. We must pay for this food stamps. We must pay for these bailouts. All the inflation that's coming will be right on time to take up any finite amount of money that we accept as reparations. So no finite amount of reparations can be taken. I remember when Vlad said something about free college for reparations. I don't know if he was trying to be funny, but I'm just talking about right now. He's on a better path. Somebody got a bug in his ear, and I appreciate they did. But a percentage of every industry, the hashtag is I, interest in industry. Let me get Bartholomew out the way. His name is Terry, but he lets me call him Bartholomew. He says do that. He says I don't have to do that. But he says if I timestamp that, and timestamp the possible plagiarism, it'll save me billable hours. I don't even know what money is, so I don't know what a billable hour is. I just get that out the way. But it'll be a sliding scale. Every industry across the board, every industry in the OSHA occupational handbook would have to come up. Right now will be a pittance because of the GNP and what we're doing right now with the country. It's all up in question marks, but it will be a sliding scale. Right now it would be the lowest percentage scale of the sliding scale. Let's say 6%. 6% of every industry across the board would have to fork over this money into foundation building and direct reparations to descendants of African Americans who were slaves. No other way around it. Any finite amount of money is laughable and should not be signed on. And the history books should mock any African American who signs on to a finite amount of reparations. The barometer could be, correlated to the GNP. Right now we're doing bad, so it'll be at the low part of 6%. When the country becomes better through this hard times, a lot of innovation is stirring up, so the country will flourish in the future. And as the country flourishes, then the reparations will go higher. Because if the reparations don't happen right now before Industry 2.0, I have a theory that COVID was Industry 2.0 been throwing in our face. We're being forced into Industry 2.0. But it's just like the railroad coming through the country, coming through the frontier. If it has to be done, it has to be done. It sounds bad, but if we weren't going to change, if we weren't going to wash our hands as the whole world gets smaller, then we weren't going to flourish as a people. Now, the most layman in the world knows they need to wash their hands. I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's happening and we're going through it. But I'm gonna get off of that. So that's a whole nother topic. But the reparations have to be infinite, first of all, and then on a sliding scale that reflects how the country is doing to not cripple or bankrupt this country. Now, if anybody has a problem with that, please inform me. Why? Inform me why. If the money is stolen and the original owners only ask for a percentage of the interest, how could you have a problem against that unless you have a problem with equality? That's my only question. Now, shout out to Akon, because you followed your heart. You did what you love to rise above the bullshit. And anytime you could have been caught up in any other bullshit people thought you was caught up in, you wouldn't have made it where you was at. You got God in you, and I appreciate your intellect. My problem was with how you felt about African Americans in America as an immigrant. That was my only problem. Everything else, man, come on. You know it. You sold billions of albums. I bought at least one of them. I can't knock you like that. Vlad, keep getting your money. Don't stop getting money. You thinking 50 years ahead of us. Some of these interviews I see, I see being part of documentaries and books and all those stuff like that. So you ain't doing nothing wrong. But I just had to speak my mind on what I seen as a misunderstanding that could be cleared up in one conversation, and I'm glad I could have that with my viewers. But to all my viewers, that was a real, directive conversation. I hate to do those, but it had to be done. How can you feel one way about reparations when your father, first generation immigrants, when your father benefits from the reparations that my father is supposed to have? Shout out to everybody in the world. No disrespect to anybody in the world. Trust me. Like I said before, I'm not trying to pick on Akon at all. I'm not thinking that. I'm not hiding behind my anonymity on the internet or nothing like that. I'm saying that Akon said something that I disagreed with, so I'm speaking on it. Now, to speak truth to power in closing, if anybody buys a globe and spins it, well, you don't even have to do that. You can go to Google Earth and spin the globe with your mouse. And if you stop it, more than likely you're going to land on water. But if you spin the globe a few times, and out of the 5 times, if you spin the globe 10 times, and out of the 10 times you land on water, 2 times you land on land, anywhere in the world, that's begging for oppression to stop, for oligarchs to move on, for outside entities to stop releasing them of their resources anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world where oppression is a problem. The locals are helping the oppression happen, and the oppressor is a lighter shade than the locals. That's anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. So just think about, as an Arab, what the British have done, as an African, what the British have done, Aboriginals, what the Australians done via the British. Think about the last names that are prominent in Britain and how they still prominent in America, though there was a Revolutionary War. Y'all go see my video on the Revolutionary War. Just realize Akon is not the problem. If Akon benefited from oppression, he's no better or worse than me or you. The reason that we don't have reparations right now in the form of reparations. I ain't with nobody trying to paint the White House black. I ain't with that. We want to go back to Africa. There's ships going every day. One day I'm going to end up in Africa. We built this country. We're part of the oppression. We took this country from somebody. Now the next generation don't want to be a part of this oppression. Kids that are rock stars, and you can see it in them, don't even want to be rock stars. Kids that are basketball players, and you see it in them, don't even want to be LeBron James. You look at college sports, with college football when they played, the best college players didn't go to the best colleges. It's a whole different mentality. They don't want to be a part of this oppression. That's the only reason the government is having a problem. Those gangsters that people don't like is the only reason they respect our black ass. The mobsters, the Italian and Jewish mobsters, was how they got respect. Our gangsters of today are the same mobsters of back then. They're not respecting your ass going to work every day, not raising your hand to speak against oppression. They are catering to the hearts and minds of those kids, risking their life. They ain't even carrying guns, most of them, going against people in riot gear. That's why our generation may not see reparations the way it's supposed to be. We will see reparations, before I die. But it may not be fine-tuned the way it's supposed to be until after my generation is gone. Because we was really a part of this. I wanted to be president. I wanted to go to University of Texas. And I wanted to be #1 recruit, he didn't go to UT, but like Bruce Smith, first overall pick off the D line. Until I realized, they was a little bit bigger, like 4 or 5 inches bigger, and a little bit stronger. Like they lifted like 300 or 400 more pounds than me. And they was just faster, not even just faster, not even just ran faster, they jumped faster. I ain't talking about jumped higher, jumped faster. And I realized that wasn't, all this had to be revealed to me. But I'm saying all that to say that we was a part of this process. So the undoing of the process, we're gonna have the same amount of interest in it. The same amount. Exact same amount. If you still want oppression to go on, it's not gonna go on. And you're gonna be mad about it. If you do not want equality and you're opposed to everybody being equal, you're probably not happy right now. But it's not for me to make you happy. My platform, if y'all read the description, is my thoughts, and I'm giving them to the world. Just see if I'm right. If I'm not, put it in the comments, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, and don't forget, hit that Cash App, 1AAAPodcast TX. God bless. I appreciate y'all listening. I'm out.